Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well today. So Estee Lauder has a new double wear foundation. So this is what we're going to be checking out today. This is the new double wear sheer long wear makeup, and I'm very excited about this because I think we have a matte skin tint on our hands, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to work on my skin. I've tried a lot of skin tints this year, but all of them have been more on the glowy side. So I'm really excited to see a matte skin tint. So we're going to be checking this one out today. So before we get into this, if you're here for the first time, hello, welcome, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is SonyaNicole, and I do makeup videos here, including some stuff for us 40 and over makeup lovers. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you subscribe while you're here. I would really appreciate your support, and of course I would love to have you join the channel. Okay y'all, let's jump right into it. Okay, so here's the packaging for the new foundation. So it does look a little bit different than the other double wear foundations, but I like this. I like how it's really nice and compact. I think about traveling with this or just being able to fit it like in a tight space. So I do really like this packaging. So let's go over some of the claims on this foundation. It's supposed to be a weightless, fresh feeling matte foundation that's supposed to last up to 12 hours. It is oil free and it's supposed to control shine. It does say it's for all skin types, but it's supposed to have a matte finish, so some people with dry skin may not like it as much as people with like normal to oily skin, but it does say it's for all skin types. It's available in 26 shades and it costs $43. So with the price of this is not being marketed as a skin tint. It's called a sheer long wear foundation, so I feel like it might end up wearing like a skin tint. And I noticed with other brands, their skin tints, they tend to be a little bit cheaper than their foundations, but this one is the same price as the original double wear, but this one is being marketed as a foundation, not as a skin tint. So we'll see how we think it wears, if it's a foundation or more of like a skin tint, but it is the same price as the other foundations. Now with the original double wear coming in 56 shades, I never felt like I had an exact shade in that brand, but I think after the last time I bought double wear foundation, they added more shades, so I probably have a better shade match now. I just never went back to test one out. I used to mix one shade in the original double wear with another shade in double wear light, and I like the finish of that better as well as the shade. So with that being said, this one only comes in 26 shades and I really had a hard time picking one. Well, actually I didn't have a hard time picking one because I picked pretty much like the only one that I think I can wear. So this is the shade 5W1. It's called 5W1 Bronze, and it's described as deep with warm golden undertones. So just in case you're watching one of my foundation videos for the first time, I usually wear pink undertones. Those are the ones that work best for me, but quite often I can't find a pink undertone for my complexion range. If I can't find a pink undertone, the next best thing for me is always golden. I can't ever do like yellow, olive, or neutral. Those just don't work for me at all. So I picked this one because they do have a couple that come in a cool undertone, but it would have been really light for me, and then all of the other ones in this like range were either just too dark or too light. So I feel like this is really the only one that I could use. So I'm just gonna shake this up. Let me know if y'all can hear that. It's very liquidy. If you've ever tried double wear nude, this foundation here in the middle, it's very liquidy just like that. So let's start off with a little hand swatch. So this is the applicator here. It's similar to the Fenty Beauty skin tint. Yeah, it's really liquidy. So because this is supposed to have a sheer finish to it, I feel like I'll be able to wear this, but it's blending out in my hand very nicely, which means that it's probably going to be just a tad too light on my face because my hand is a little bit lighter than my face, but that blended out in my hand pretty much seamlessly. So let's start off with applying this to one side of the face and we will see what we think about it. So this is pretty much dried down on my hand, and I really love the way that it looks on the hand. It looks like a really nice soft matte finish, so I'm getting excited because this is looking very promising. I know the shade isn't going to be the best, but I like the way that this looks on the hand. So let's get started. I think I'm going to start off with applying it with a sponge, but I have a damp sponge and a brush just in case I have to switch up. So let's start on this side of the face. Have no idea how much to put on here. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I usually don't wear foundation primer. And I don't like testing out foundations with a primer anyway, because the first time I wear it, I just want to see like how it operates on my skin without the assistance of a primer, but I usually don't wear primer anyway, so. Okay, so this is about, I'm going to say that was maybe like a half a pump of product, because it was like really liquidy. So the first thing that I'm noticing is that it definitely gives like a soft matte finish. It pretty much took away most of the shine on this side of my face compared to this side, but it didn't give me like hardly any coverage at all. But I do think that it looks like a really nice, like natural, like subtle matte finish. So I'm gonna put some on over here, and then I'll see if we can kind of build it up a little bit on this side. I feel like this might be a little bit more that I put on this side, but it's just hard to get the amounts to be even because it's so liquidy and it's not a pump applicator, so. Okay, so this is about one layer on both sides of my face, so let me know what y'all think. I think the only like thing that I'm really noticing right now is that it took away the shine, so I would say it is like slightly mattifying my face. It is kind of like blurring some things out. It is kind of like evening things out, but it's not really giving a whole lot of coverage. Like I feel like the scarring that I have on my cheeks, they look blurred, but they're definitely still like very visible. So if you're okay with having like scarring still show up after you put your makeup on, or if you really don't have anything to cover up, but you want something that's going to give you like a nice lightweight, because this is very lightweight, and a nice lightweight soft matte coverage, I feel like you would like this. I like it so far. Like I feel like it's giving me a lightweight matte finish. So let me know what y'all think. It is a little bit lighter. Like if they had this color just a tad darker, the next shade is just way too dark for me, but if they had one that was just a little bit darker, I think I would like that better, but I think it looks okay. So I'm going to put a little bit more on, and I think I'm going to blend out the second layer with a brush just to see if we can build up the coverage even more. So I'm going to go on with a little bit more. It's like really liquidy though. That's the only thing. Like I feel like you have to kind of be careful when you're putting this on your face, because it's like super liquidy. It reminds me of the Double Wear Nude foundation, if you've ever tried that one. I think that one was discontinued, but it's really liquidy. Okay, so we're gonna say that this is like 2 pumps, I guess, on this side of my face, whereas over here we have about 1 pump. So I know that the shade of it isn't the best, because I feel like now that I've gone on with that second layer, it's looking a bit more on the yellowy side than I would prefer. And I just feel like now that I have more on over here, it's just a lot more noticeable that it's not the right undertone for me. But I do think that it is building up, but only slightly. I think that this is, it's claiming to be a sheer finish, and I feel like that's exactly what it is. Like it's giving me just a little bit more coverage with that second layer on, but you could put like 10 layers of this stuff on. It's not going to really build up to anything more than like a, I would say at most like a light coverage, but I do think it is building up pretty nicely. So let me go on to the other side just so that we're even on both sides. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. I know that the shade of it isn't the best, and what you guys are seeing is a little bit different from what I'm seeing, because the lighting is just adding to that just a little bit. But even when I look in my mirror, it doesn't look quite as off, but I can tell that it is still off. But aside from the shade, what do you guys think about just the finish of it on my face? I do think that this is really good at blurring your skin. Like to me, the scarring that I have on my cheeks, even with that second layer, you can still see a lot of the scarring, but it does look blurred. It does look just a little bit more covered up, and I do think it kind of like evened everything out. I do think it has like a soft matte finish. I think I can still see just a little bit of glow in my face in certain areas, but I do think it's giving off like a soft matte finish. So I can already tell that this is not going to be one that I'm going to be reaching for on a regular basis, but that's because of the shade. I think if you can find a shade in here that matches you and you're looking for a sheer matte coverage, this might be one to try out, but we still have to do the wear test to see how it wears during the day. So let me know what y'all think so far. I'm gonna speed through doing the rest of my makeup. I'll come back. I kind of just already gave y'all my first impressions, but I'll speed through doing the rest of my makeup and then we'll get started with the wear test. Okay guys, here's my face for today. You might have noticed that I went back and changed a couple of things like during the routine, but I'll have everything that I'm wearing in the description box below. But here's my finished look for today, so let me know what y'all are thinking. So before we start with the wear test, let me just give y'all like my overall first impressions. I think overall I do like it so far, but of course the wear test is going to be that's going to give us like the final verdict on this foundation. But so far I'm liking it. I've had it on for about 30 minutes, let's say, and I feel like it's wearing just like it claims that it should. So it's giving me a sheer matte finish. If you're looking for something that has sheer coverage, something that's going to control your shine during the day and just help to mattify the skin, so far I'm going to say this is a good product to try out. But one of the things that I used to love about the original Double Wear as well as Double Wear Light, they used to stay matte on my face for hours and hours and hours, like one of the longest lasting foundations that I've ever worn. So I'm gonna see if the same holds true for this one. So let's get started with our wear test. We'll come back, see what we're looking like, and then I will give y'all my final thoughts. So it is a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I will see y'all back here a little bit later on. Okay, I am back. It is a little after 5 o'clock, so we've only made it to about a 4-hour wear test today, and I like to try to go at least 6 hours, if not 8 hours. But I'm stopping this wear test now because I've already seen everything that I need to see. So this is what my face is looking like. And I had a sneeze attack like shortly before coming back to film this part, so I can tell that I sound nasally, so I'm sorry about that. But so this is what my face is looking like, and I think y'all can see that I'm shiny in my T-zone, and that always happens with foundations. But I was expecting this one to last longer than it did. So I don't look like a complete oil slick, but I feel like I am to the point where I would no longer say that this foundation is keeping me matte. So it does claim to stay matte and shine free for up to 12 hours, and it's been 4 hours and I feel like I'm already getting shiny. And when I compare this, like how this wore on me today, to the original Double Wear and also Double Wear Light, both of those foundations, they stay nice and matte on me for a really long time. So based on my experience with those, I was expecting this one to wear a little bit better. Now, I don't think it looks horrible. Like, I'm about to blot and refresh so we can see what that looks like, but I think that after I do that, the makeup will look just fine. But like I said, I was expecting it to wear a little bit longer than it did. So let us blot and refresh, and then I will just wrap up my final thoughts for y'all. So I'm just taking a piece of tissue, and just like I always do, I'm just blotting right in my T-zone area. And per the usual, just blotting off the excess oil is making it look a lot better. And I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit of powder on top of this. I meant to tell y'all earlier, I meant to show y'all the powder that I was using because I think that that makes a difference in how like the foundation wears. So earlier today I set it with the Sephora Microsmooth powder, and this is the one that I usually use when I'm testing out a foundation. I put a light dusting of this on today because the foundation itself claimed to have a matte finish, which it did when I first put it on. So I didn't want to put too much powder on top of the foundation, especially since it already has a matte finish. But I'm going to take a little bit more of this and just do another light dusting just to see how it looks if I do decide to wear this and I wanted to repowder during the day. I think I took my brush downstairs to wash it. Okay, so just like I did this morning, I'm just taking just a little bit of powder and going back on top of it because I feel like now that I have blotted off that excess oil, it does look more like a matte finish, which is to be expected. So okay, so this is what we're looking like after putting some powder on and refreshing the makeup, and I think it looks fine. Like, I do think for the most part it looks like I just put the makeup on, so I think it looks pretty good. So just to wrap up my final thoughts on this, overall, would I recommend that you try this? I would say that it is worth trying out, but I don't think it's anything special about it, especially with the price point being $43, but it is Estee Lauder, so that's kind of like in line with Estee Lauder products. I mean, I think for the most part it wore the way that it claimed to. It definitely has a sheer coverage. I put 2 layers of it all over my face, and even with 2 layers it did give me a little bit of coverage, but this is not going to give you anywhere near like medium or full coverage. It does feel very lightweight for the amount of product that I put on because it was really liquidy, so it really doesn't feel like there's anything on my face. When I initially put it on, I liked the finish that it gave like a really soft, like natural matte finish. However, like I said, I was expecting the matte finish to last a lot longer than it did. So you might try this and you might have like a better outcome than I did, but I mean, 4 hours is okay. I was just expecting it to last longer based on my experience with the other Double Wear foundation. So I guess those are my final thoughts. If they end up extending the shade range on this, if I ever like catch it on sale or something and I can get it in a better shade match, I might try it again. Like this shade, again, just in case you're going to use me as a reference, this is shade 5W1 Bronze. I feel like I can definitely wear this, but I do feel like it's coming off just a tad, just like slightly yellow on my face. But I feel like I would only try this again if I could like catch it on sale and they had like a better shade range. I'm guessing it only comes in 26 shades because even though it's not marketed as a skin tint, I think that's kind of like the idea of it. So it doesn't have as many shades as the other foundations because these are supposed to be adjustable. That wasn't in the claims. Let me just double check that, but I don't remember reading that. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere on here that it's supposed to be like adjustable shades or anything like that. It does say it's supposed to be undetectable because of the sheer coverage, but it doesn't, it really doesn't read like it's supposed to be a skin tint. But I'm wondering if that's why they only have the 26 shades, because it is supposed to be so sheer. I'm not sure about that, but all I can say is this only comes in like half the number of shades as the other Double Wear foundation. So I guess those are my final thoughts. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this foundation for today, and if you're planning on trying trying this out. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.